If this hit close to home, leave a comment and subscribe. More of this every week. You hate your job. Not in a vague, I wish things were different kind of way, in the concrete, specific, Sunday night dread kind of way, where you lie in bed thinking about Monday morning and your stomach tightens. You know the meetings are pointless. You know the manager doesn't respect you. You know you are not growing. You know this is not where you are supposed to be. And yet, you are still there. Not for a week, not for a month, for years. And every time you get close to leaving, something stops you. A reason, a calculation, a fear, and you stay. Here is what nobody tells you about that. You are not weak. You are not lazy. You are not incapable of change. Your brain is running a very specific set of programs that were designed to keep you exactly where you are. And today, we are going to name them. The sunk cost trap. Approximately 90 seconds. The first program is called the sunk cost fallacy. You have been at this company for 4 years. You have learned the systems, built the relationships, survived the politics, earned the title. And somewhere along the way, you started counting. 4 years. All those late nights. The projects you sacrificed weekends for. The times you stayed quiet when you should have spoken up. The version of yourself you left at the door every Monday morning. And your brain says, if I leave now, was all of that for nothing? That feeling has a name. Sunk cost fallacy. The tendency to continue something, not because it is good for you going forward, but because of what you have already put into it. It is the same reason people finish bad movies, stay in failing relationships, hold losing stocks for years, hoping they will recover. The investment creates an emotional anchor that makes walking away feel like losing. But here is the truth that every economist knows and almost nobody applies to their own life. Sunk costs are sunk. The 4 years are gone. Whether you leave today or in 10 years, those 4 years do not come back. The only question that actually matters is, given where you are right now, where do you want to go next? Everything else is a story your brain tells you to avoid the discomfort of change. The second program is even more powerful. Imagine 2 scenarios. In the first, you gain $5,000. In the second, you lose $5,000. Which one affects you more? Research consistently shows that losses feel approximately twice as painful as equivalent gains feel good. Losing $100 hurts more than finding $100 feels great. This is not a character flaw. This is how the human brain was wired for survival. And when you think about leaving your job, your brain immediately runs the loss calculation. You would lose the salary you can count on, the health insurance, the colleagues you actually like, the routine that structures your week, the identity that comes with the title on your email signature. And what would you gain? Something uncertain, something that might not work, something you cannot fully picture yet. Your brain treats uncertainty like a threat. Not because the new path is actually worse, but because it cannot be measured. And an unmeasured risk always feels bigger than a known pain. This is why people stay in situations that are clearly bad for them. Not because they do not see it, but because the pain of staying feels smaller and more predictable than the fear of what leaving might bring. The job you hate is a known quantity. The life you want is not. And your brain chooses the known every time, unless you intervene. But there is a third layer, and this one is the hardest to see. At some point, you stopped having a job and started being one. Think about the last time someone asked what you do. You did not say, "I work in marketing." You said, "I am a marketing manager." 2 words. I am. Not what you do, what you are. This is not an accident. We are conditioned from childhood to tie identity to occupation. What do you want to be when you grow up? Not what do you want to do. What do you want to be? The job is not a role you fill. It is a self that you inhabit. So when you think about leaving, you are not just thinking about changing jobs. You are thinking about losing a self. And the brain treats identity loss the same way it treats physical threat. There is research on this. When people experience major identity disruption, a job loss, a divorce, a health crisis, the brain activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Identity is not a metaphor. It is neurologically real. And the longer you have held a title, the more that identity has calcified. 5 years as a financial analyst, 8 years in the same department. You have built an entire personality around the role, the expertise, the reputation, the way you explain yourself at dinner parties. Leaving means rebuilding that from scratch, starting as a beginner somewhere new, losing the competence and status you spent years building. And your brain, wired to protect identity the way it protects the body, treats that prospect like danger. This is why the most trapped people are often the most successful ones. The higher the title, the bigger the identity. The more it hurts to let go, the more convincing the reasons to stay become. You are not staying because you are cowardly. You are staying because your brain is protecting something it has mistaken for survival. So what do you actually do with this? First, name the program that is running. When you feel frozen about leaving, ask yourself which one is speaking. Is it sunk cost? I have invested too much to walk away. Is it loss aversion? I am afraid of what I might lose. Is it identity? I do not know who I am without this role. Naming it does not dissolve it, but it gives you something to push back against. Second, separate what you have done from what you will do. The years you spent at this job are not wasted. They are data, skills, evidence that you can build something. They come with you. What you leave behind is the job, not what you learned in it. Third, understand that identity is not fixed. The self you built around that title is one version of you, not the only one. Every person who made a significant change went through a period of being between selves. That gap feels like loss. It is actually space. And fourth, recognize that staying has a cost too. We spend so much energy calculating the risk of leaving that we forget to calculate the cost of staying. The years, the energy, the version of yourself that gets a little smaller every Sunday night. That cost is real. It just does not show up in a number. The people who made the jump, they were not less afraid than you. They were not more certain. They did not have a guarantee. They just decided that the known pain of staying was no longer worth more than the unknown possibility of leaving. If this resonated, share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you next week.